You're tuned to the Living Room on 938 Live. I'm Pamela Ho. Thanks for joining me. Well, just about everything is related to sales. Be it products or services. And when you think about it, anything that rakes in the dollars will involve some measure of selling. Well, even running a radio station, for example, or raising funds for charity. But there is a skill to selling, and bad salesmen give the industry a bad name. How often have we made fun of shoe salesmen or second-hand car salesmen? But what are some of these common mistakes salespeople make, and what is the secret to winning customers in today's competitive environment? And how can we sharpen our selling skills? Well, join me, Pamela, in the living room now as I chat with Angela Oh, who is author of the book Heart Sell. And she's also founder of Empower Learning LLP, which is a sales training and consultancy company. Well, Angela is a sales veteran with over 21 years experience under her belt, and that's covering a wide range of industries and markets from private to public sector, local as well as the international market. And in her long career, she has emerged a top performer in the organizations that she was a part of, and won numerous sales awards within these organizations, including the Chairman Award and Roundtable Award at the S&P Security Printing, as well as Gold Club Award at ESI International. And if you are in sales, or you would like to venture into sales and you have questions for Angela today, well, we do invite you to call in at 669-11938. Well, Angela, a very warm welcome to the living room. Good morning. Great to have you here.
Good morning, Pam.
Good morning. Well, first of all, when we talk about sales, you having stayed in this business, in the industry for over 20 years, what got you interested in sales in the first place?
Well, I think, first of all, I must admit that I got into it without, before I know it, I'm in it. But over time, I've realized that this is an industry that is very dynamic. You do not get to do the same thing every day. And basically it changes, and it's very challenging because you get to meet all sorts of customers, and how do you actually liaise with them and make them, want to basically work with you. Yeah. So it's an industry that is very dynamic, very challenging, and of course with high targets to meet, that make it even more exciting. Well, but at the end of it all, I must say that it is getting to know people and being able to, in fact, have them even become my friends. And that is the best part of it all.
Well, so you have to be quite a people's person, no doubt, to be a salesperson. And, why do you suppose then that, salesmen have this bad name or this bad reputation? They are often, viewed quite negatively. What would you say would be, the most common mistakes that salespeople make?
Well, I think, first of all, salespeople are often viewed very negatively. I think it's because of some of the bad experiences that the customers have. And I think we all have a fair share of that. In terms of what are some of the mistakes they make, I guess basically one of the very common mistakes is they talk more than listen.
And that's true.
And they think that if they can out-talk the customer, then most likely they will be able to close the deal. But that seems to be not the case. And most of the time, they tend to tell more than they listen. And as a result, they ended up trying to sell something that they want rather than what the customer needs or what the customer wants. And of course, the other aspect is they tend to overcommit and under-deliver. So that make them great liars in the end.
Right, and just hearing you say that, it just reminded me of a phone call that I just received, just yesterday, and the person kept persisting and just rambling, and I said, I'm really not interested in it right now, and the person just kept going, and you saying that salesperson talk more than they listen.
Yeah.
I come across very, very few salespeople who actually listen.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They just kind of ramble off from some kind of a script. But having worked in this industry for so long as well, what do you understand about the consumer's psyche? What makes somebody buy into something?
I think basically people buy when they know that you really care for them, you really want to help them. And most of the time, if we are able to have this patience, to really listen to what the customer wants, most of the time we will be able to get the sale. Yeah.
That is a very refreshing sort of a viewpoint to hear you say that. I mean, it sounds to me, I may be wrong, that these skills are something that women naturally have as well. Would you say?
Well, somehow or rather, I think women has this kind of
advantage.
advantage in terms of being able to relate better, and I think emotionally they are, well, some men will say they are more emotional, but that could be to their advantage, because then you can kind of feel with the customer, and as a result you kind of buy them over, with your kind of the relationship that you built with them. Yeah.
So men and women may have slightly different styles when it comes to selling, and it could, some people may prefer the women's styles. What could men perhaps learn from women when it comes to sales, you think?
I think most of the time, we tend to view men, as a bit hard, and somehow or rather they tend to go towards talking and rather than really listening. But women tends to have a bit more soft touch to it, and maybe it's the way they talk or the tone of voice. So, well, perhaps the men out there, could look into that area to help to improve their selling skills.
And, at this point, I do want to understand a bit about what you mean by heart sell, because we seem to be going into that area about, certain skills that you need to have. And how is heart selling different from hard selling?
Well, I think when we talk about hard, as in HARD, we are talking about, pushing our product or our service to the customer, and we actually do not care, if the customer needs it or actually wants it. And to us, if we are doing hard selling, as in HARD, basically the customer is just another money generating machine. So it's just a number, in a way. But when you talk about heart, as in HEART, that's where we actually put ourselves in the shoes of the customers, and we sell from the heart, as what it says, heart sell. And at the same time, we actually value our customers, and we put his needs first before whatever we are going to offer. Yeah, so that makes a lot of difference, even though it's just one word difference.
But at the same time, it sounds like something that takes a bit of commitment, a bit of time as well. And let's say you're meeting somebody, for a first time or a cold call and things like that. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of that time to, get to know the person, to build a relationship before you sell. So, I mean, how do you do it if you have that limited time on the phone or face-to-face with a person?
Well, the trick is, people have asked me, whether this is applicable for those short encounter that you have with the customers. It can be just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but how do you make the person feel at home or feel comfortable with you? I think that's the main thing that you should be looking out for. And because once the person it could be your smile, it could be your eye contact, how you look at a person. It could be even your handshake. How do you shake the person's hand? Is it warm, or is it just with a very cold kind of handshake? So things like that would add up to the entire encounter that the customer will have with you.
Would you say that anybody and everybody can be a good salesperson?
Well, I think somebody ever asked me, what would be the criteria, to be in sales, before you actually go into sales. I think the main or the most, the very main criteria would be to have a love for people, because I think when you love people, you will value them, and you will like to work with them, and at the same time, they will become your friends. So you actually meet your objective as a result of that.
And talking about that love for people, I guess that would be, something that if you are into sales or you're planning to go into sales, that's a question that you have to ask yourself first of all, according to our guest today, who is Angela Oh, and she is the founder of Empower Learning LLP, which is a sales training and consultancy company. In fact, she has been in this industry for over 21 years, and she's recently written a book, and that book is called Heart Sell. And in fact, we'll be finding out a bit more about that book because it is written by a Singaporean and Asian as well as by a woman, which is kind of unusual because most of the time when we grab sales books off the shelf, they are written by, Western and men. So a new perspective. We'll be getting into that book in just a bit. But I do want to find out from you also very quickly about the secrets, to being a good salesperson. Is there a word, or is there something that would sum up for you what is the secret to being a good salesperson?
Wow. To sum it up in one word is very tough. But if you ask me what are some of the traits that one should have, to be a good salesperson, I think there are a few areas. One of them would be to be passionate, meaning to be passionate about what you're selling, and at the same time to be patient with your customer, to really listen, and at the same time to be around, when problems crop up, when your things don't work.
Right. So two P words came up, at least that she brought up, passionate as well as patient. We'll be finding out more about these traits in just a bit, of course. Don't go away. We are chatting with the author of Heart Sell. Her name is Angela Oh. And, of course, if you have questions later, you're most welcome to call in to ask her as well. Well, you're tuned to the Living Room on 938 Live. Stay with us.
938 Live. 938 Live gets you talking.